So the key is when you lead a team of any type, right, is how do you impact goal achievement? How do we get there? How do we get to whatever we've set as our end target in mind? How do we get there? What's the best way to do it? And there's three functions, if you will, of a leader, of a manager, of a coach in a business, and that's what they are really, right? A leader leads. A leader sets the tone. A leader sets the vision. A leader influences other folks to goal achievement. A manager coordinates. Right? They make sure that folks are deployed in the right way, in the right place, at the right time, and enough resources and enough assets, and they get things done in that way. And a coach, think of them as a developer of talent. They're the folks that identify, Sally's really good at this, and so her role on this team makes most sense here, and John's really good at that, and he makes sense doing this, and Tom can do this. That's what a really good coach does. They take the team, and they match up talents and skills against, frankly, the objective and help move it forward. Now, some of you in the room are going to want to raise because you're going to say, wow, I'm all three. I hope you are, because that's really what the leader of today has to be. You have to be all three. But today I want to ask you to really specifically focus on coaching. And to help us do that, I want to bring another person into our discussion here. I recently had the opportunity to talk to a national sales manager of a Fortune 500 company. And it was just interviewing him about how he did his thing. And as we talked, and I'm furiously taking notes, and listened to him, I said, you know what you are? You're a coach. And he goes, wow, I never thought about that, but I guess I am. As you think about it, that's kind of what I do. So let me share with you, and I synthesized some of our notes, and he and I kind of worked on it together a little bit, but tactically, what's he do as a coach to make it work? And I just want to share some of these things with you. First thing he did was to ensure that everybody on the team had the technical skills. No options, right? And they sold a fairly sophisticated product in their industry, and there's no option. The expectation on the part of the customers was, these people will be able to answer all of my technical questions. And so that was one of his very first things that he did. He ensured that everybody had that kind of technical skill. Secondly then, and especially again as he's thinking about sellers, he made sure that every seller had very specific individual goals. Now some of you in the room are going to go, well, duh, of course. Folks, I just want to share with you, it's been my experience that about half of the sellers in this country don't have a specific sales goal. They have guidelines. They kind of know when things don't go well because the manager yells at them, right? But it's amazing how many folks don't have super specific goals, and especially individual goals. My comment there is just exactly that. You wouldn't give, think about an athletic team, right? Gosh, in my past experience playing ball, myself, this won't surprise anyone, my coach had very specific objective for me, and that is to make me faster. He had an uphill climb. Okay? But my buddy Mike, he was an absolute water bug. His deal was controlling the speed. And so he needed to learn balance. Trust me, we didn't do the same drills. We ended up on the same team, being pretty darn successful, but we had to get there in different ways. That's what the coach does. And that's what this guy did. Made sure everybody's got their own individual goals. From there then, he absolutely made sure that everybody, that everyone on the team knew and understood what the financial impact each of their individual actions had on the overall business. It's amazing, again, to me, the number of people, when you ask them, so what you do and what's its impact on the overall company? I don't know. As long as they don't yell at me, I guess things are good. This guy made a real effort to say, here's what it does mean. Here's why it's important that we do this together, and here's what your role is in making that successful. So that was another very critical tactic, I thought, that when he talked about what it is that he did. And then finally, he also made it very clear, and I thought this was important because it's amazing to me the disconnect often between workforces and sales forces and management. He made it very, very clear about all the commitment that the company had to helping them be successful. I think coaches and managers and leaders make a terrible mistake by not helping people understand all the good things that the organization does in order to help them be successful. This guy made a real effort to make that happen. And I think that was very, very important to focus on. And then finally, and this one is one that you hear a lot of people talk about, but very, very few people do. This guy was absolutely adamant about rewarding individual improvement. The focus was on improvement. See, the guy that always wins the sales award at the national sales meeting, well, you know what? There's about 90% of the audience out there that's saying, you know, if I had his territory and was in his part of the country and had his pricing scheme and the competitors that he doesn't have that I do, I'd win that award too. And you know what? Sometimes they're right. This guy's focus wasn't on that. Only certainly gave the top seller award, but his more important awards were about improvement. Who made the biggest shift and change in their particular piece of the business in a given period of time? Folks, that's what good coaches do. They take the team and they help mold that team to their individual talents for the greater good for the whole organization. Be a coach.